In battle, things never go exactly as planned. In today's video, I'll explain how Lord Kabu's desire to find out the truth about how Boruto escaped from Konoha after his arrest may have put the current mission to protect Eida from Mamushi at risk. I'll also explain how Kashin Koji's attempt to deal with this problem could cause future issues that he does not realize in the present. The village elders seem to believe that Boruto might secretly be working with the divine trees. They think this could be a part of a cruel plan to trick Konoha by giving fake information to help fight the divine trees, and the village trust and then destroy Konoha from the inside as a revenge for being driven out. Even though they are wrong, it is still sensible to look at things from their perspective. The people of Konoha have been affected by omnipotence, and because of this, their memories have been changed. They now see Boruto as the enemy who killed Naruto, the Hokage, and his wife Hinata, and who also tried to kill their son, Kawaki. Lord Daimyo, the man who provides Konoha with the resources it needs to function properly, was deeply hurt by what he believes was Boruto's betrayal. Because of this, he wants Boruto to be captured or killed. Lord Kabu, the right-hand man of Lord Daimyo, has come to Konoha to find out how Boruto managed to escape after he was arrested. Lord Kabu believes that there's a mole inside Konoha's inner circle who was and may be still communicating with Boruto. He thinks this person must be the one who helped Boruto escape during his interrogation. From Lord Kabu's perspective, this is a serious issue that threatens the security of the Land of Fire and damages Konoha's reputation. Because of this, Lord Kabu wants to question everyone who had direct contact with Boruto, as well as the current Hokage, Shikamaru. Shikamaru had received information from a mysterious source that helped with the mission to retrieve the Thorn Soul buff of Matsuri and Ryu. And Lord Kabu wants to find out who that source is and uncover the mole. There's nothing wrong with Lord Kabu's intentions. The real problem is his timing. He wants to carry out these interrogations while Mamushi is attacking Konoha and actively searching for Eida in order to devour her. While Lord Kabu was interrogating Konohamaru and Mitsuki, Shikamaru was busy dealing with the threat of Mamushi. Shikamaru was acting as the battle strategist, giving orders on how to fight Mamushi inside Konoha. In my earlier videos about this mission, I explained up to the point where Shikamaru had changed his plans. This was because Mamushi created many self-clones and spread them across Konoha to draw as much attention as possible. Mamushi's goal was to distract both the villagers and the shinobi so it would be easy for him to search for Eida and find her. Shikamaru ordered Boruto to destroy the Mamushi clones from the southwest and then link up with Team 10 in the east, where several more clones were located. While this was happening, Lord Kabu was questioning Mitsuki. He wanted to know how Mitsuki knew the release code for Boruto's calves. From Lord Kabu's perspective, he had likely concluded that Mitsuki was the one who released Boruto from his sealing calves during the arrest, which is why he asked Mitsuki that question. Mitsuki, because of his calm nature and strategic way of thinking, would have been able to handle this question on his own. However, Konohamaru made the situation worse by trying to help. Konohamaru knew that only 3 people were aware of the release code for Boruto's sealing calves: Akebi, Shikamaru, and Konohamaru himself. Konohamaru believed that Mitsuki might eventually admit to helping Boruto escape, especially since Lord Kabu was already able to analyze the situation and reach conclusions without hearing the full truth from those involved. Konohamaru then realized it was only a matter of time before Lord Kabu discovered that Shikamaru was the one who gave Mitsuki the secret code. If that happened, Shikamaru could lose his position as Hokage and his ability to influence events in Konoha using the information provided by Boruto and Kashin Koji. To stop this from happening, Konohamaru decided to take responsibility for Boruto's escape himself. Konohamaru told Lord Kabu that he had forgotten to mention something during his interrogation. He claimed that the release code for the sealing calves had never actually been said, and that this was his mistake. This meant that Boruto's calves were never properly locked in the first place. Konohamaru hoped this explanation would lead Lord Kabu to believe that Boruto escaped because the sealing calves opened due to the impact of Mitsuki's attack during the interrogation, rather than because someone used the release code. Even Mitsuki was shocked by what Konohamaru said to Lord Kabu. Through Inogen's mind transfer jutsu, Mitsuki asked Konohamaru what he was trying to do. Konohamaru then explained his true intention. Konohamaru told Mitsuki that he already knew Mitsuki was the one who helped Boruto escape, and that Shikamaru had given Mitsuki the release code. Konohamaru wanted Mitsuki to understand that if the truth was revealed, Shikamaru would be removed from his position as Hokage. This was something they could not allow to happen, at least for now, because Konoha still needed Shikamaru. However, Lord Kabu could tell that Konohamaru was lying. He said that Konohamaru had proven to be very bad at lying. Lord Kabu then asked Konohamaru who he was trying to protect. Konohamaru tried to act offended by this question, but his reaction did not convince Lord Kabu. As a result, Lord Kabu told Konohamaru to stop talking and ordered that the Hokage Shikamaru be summoned so he could be questioned next. This is where the real problem began. Based on his intuition and careful analysis of everything that happened, Lord Kabu already believed that Shikamaru was the mole and the one responsible for Boruto's escape. There was no problem with Lord Kabu wanting to question Shikamaru, but the timing was wrong. Without Shikamaru's intelligence and strategies, the team would not be able to deal with Mamushi's attacks inside Konoha. Because Shikamaru told Team 10 to stay on standby in Sector D East, they were ready when Mamushi's clones entered the area while searching for Eida. Team 10 consisted of Shikadai, Chojo, and Himawari. Shikamaru predicted that Team 10 could handle the Mamushi clone they were facing, but he also knew they would need support against the other clones. Because of this, Shikamaru ordered Boruto to drive Mamushi's clones from the southwest of Sector D and then regroup with Team 10 in Sector D East. At this point, Mamushi's clones had spread throughout Konoha and drawn the attention of around 70 people, but Eida was not among them. Himawari moved towards one of the Mamushi clones. She jumped above it and kicked off its head, destroying it. When more Mamushi clones noticed Himawari, they charged towards her to attack. Himawari reacted by backflipping away from their attacks and landed behind Shikadai and Chojo. Shikadai then used his new shadow paralysis jutsu to restrain and immobilize the three Mamushi clones near the rooftop where they had first fought Himawari. However, the jutsu could not hold them for long, and the clones broke free and rushed towards Team 10 again. Chojo responded by enlarging her right hand and smashing the Mamushi clones into the ground. As the clones began to stand up, Himawari showed that although she has incredible power, capable of fighting Otsutsuki level enemies like the Divine Trees, she still lacks experience in using that power properly. She prepared to fire a Biju bomb at the Mamushi clones without considering the damage it will cause to nearby buildings and people. Thankfully, Shikadai and Chojo stopped there in time and quickly came up with a safer plan that still allowed Himawari to use a Biju bomb. Shikadai used paralysis jutsu to bind the Mamushi clones together. Chojo then enlarged herself enough to grab the shadow-bound clones and throw them into the air. While they were airborne, Himawari fired her Biju bomb and successfully destroyed the clones. Team 10 felt relieved after dealing with those Mamushi clones, but the relief did not last long. More Mamushi clones entered the area. Even worse, there were far more clones in Sector B North, where Team 10, made up of Sarada and Delta, was located. Sarada considered fighting the Mamushi clones, but Shikamaru saw another way to handle the situation. Shikamaru realized that new adjustments were needed because Mamushi had split himself into a much larger number of clones than expected. He told everyone to listen carefully. Shikamaru explained that he had hoped to eliminate the Mamushi clones while their numbers were still small, but he admitted that he had been too optimistic. Mamushi had divided himself into a vast number of clones and scattered them across a wide area, meaning the battle had now entered its next phase. As the battle strategist, Shikamaru wanted everyone to remain calm and think clearly. He told them not to panic and reassured them that the situation was still within his expectations and that they were now changing tactics. The problem started when the sensory unit interrupted Shikamaru while he was explaining new tactics to the team on how to deal with Mamushi's clones and their large numbers. They informed them that Lord Kabu wanted him to come to the interrogation room. This meant that Shikamaru would no longer be able to fully focus on the mission to deal with the Mamushi clones, as he will also be worried about answering Lord Kabu's questions and thinking strategically at the same time. At first, Shikamaru refused. He told the sensory unit to inform Lord Kabu that he was in the middle of an emergency and asked if he could answer the questions later. However, Lord Kabu then spoke to Shikamaru directly using the sensory unit's mind transmission jutsu. Lord Kabu told Shikamaru that he had to come to Konoha as the representative of the Land of Fire's daimyo, and that his orders carried the same authority as the daimyo's own will. He demanded that Shikamaru stop delaying and present himself immediately. This showed that Lord Kabu was not concerned about Mamushi attacking the village, Boruto's presence in Konoha, or stopping Eida from being devoured by Mamushi. His main focus was finding the person who was secretly working with Boruto, which he believed was the greater threat. Shikamaru, who knew Boruto was not a threat, understood that Lord Kabu's priorities were misplaced. Boruto is only seen as an enemy because omnipotence altered everyone's memories. Shikamaru told Lord Kabu respectfully that the village was under attack and that they were in the middle of an emergency. Lord Kabu remained stubborn and insisted that his interrogation was the top priority. He then asked Shikamaru if he was willing to defy the daimyo's orders, which would cause far more damage to the village. This put Shikamaru in a very difficult position. The daimyo is the ruler of the land of fire, which Konoha belongs to. He holds enormous power over Konoha because he controls its funding, resources, and political protection. While Shikamaru is the Hokage, he is mainly the military leader of Konoha and ultimately answers to the daimyo. Defying Lord Kabu, who acts on the daimyo's behalf, could lead to serious consequences, such as Konoha losing its financial support and protection. Because of this, Shikamaru's attention became divided. Instead of focusing fully on stopping Mamushi, who wants to devour Eida, he now had to worry about Lord Kabu as well. This distraction became clear when Boruto reported that he had cleared Sector D Southwest and was heading to group with Team 10 in Sector D East. Shikamaru took longer than usual to respond, as he was preoccupied. Boruto noticed that he no longer had Shikamaru's full attention and even had to greet him again to get a response. Shikamaru finally replied, apologized for the delay, and told Boruto to meet up with Team 10 and stand by for further instructions. Due to the pressure from Lord Kabu, Shikamaru realized that he would have to go to the interrogation room. This meant he would no longer be able to monitor the mind transmission formation map in real time to track Mamushi's clones as Inujin could. Shikamaru asked Inujin to either continuously report the clones' locations to him verbally or take over command of the operation himself. The second option was not ideal because Inujin does not yet have enough experience or emotional control to make calm, rational decisions. This was shown during the battle with Jura, where Inujin's emotions, especially his anger and desire to protect Himawari, led to him being badly injured. Because of this, Inujin might act impulsively if placed in full command. That made the first option the better choice. Before leaving, Shikamaru informed everyone of the situation and warned them that several Mamushi clones were approaching the Hokage's office. He hoped that seeing the clones so close would make Lord Kabu realize the seriousness of the situation and reconsider his orders. However, Shikamaru also knew there was a strong chance that Lord Kabu would not back down, which is why he gave Inujin both options earlier. Kashin Koji saw this as an opportunity to push events towards what he believes is the greater good for the future. However, Kashin Koji's plans for the greater good often involve people being sacrificed. He told Shikamaru to hide his toad somewhere on his body. Shikamaru then asked Kashin Koji if he had a plan. Boruto was listening through the mind transmission jutsu, understood Kashin Koji's nature, and knew that he rarely acts without hidden intentions. Since Kashin Koji's plans often involve sacrifice, Boruto immediately sensed something was wrong. This is why Boruto gave a suspicious look when he heard Kashin Koji ask Shikamaru to hide the toad. Boruto's intuition was correct. Back at the hideout where Boruto and Kashin Koji stay, Kashin Koji asked Inujin, who was physically there with him, to release the mind transmission formation jutsu. By doing this, Kashin Koji cut off communication between himself and Inujin from everyone else. This meant that Shikamaru, Boruto, and the rest of the team could no longer hear what Kashin Koji wanted to say to Inujin. It was revealed that Kashin Koji wanted Inujin to use a different jutsu to control Lord Kabu once Shikamaru got close to him. While Shikamaru was talking with Lord Kabu, Inujin used his mind transfer jutsu on one of Kashin Koji's toads. This toad was at the hideout with Kashin Koji and Inujin. The mind transfer jutsu was then passed on to Lord Kabu through Kashin Koji's other toad. This second toad was in Konoha and was secretly hidden on Shikamaru's body. In this way, Inujin was able to take control of Lord Kabu's body and mind. After Inujin took control, Kashin Koji told him to leave the interrogation room. Using Lord Kabu's body, Inujin said the interrogation had made him very tired and that he needed a break to get some fresh air. He then told Sai and Shikamaru that he did not need anyone to escort him. He explained that having people with him would feel too suffocating and would ruin the point of the break. He ordered everyone to stay in the interrogation room and said that he would return later. Kashin Koji's real plan was for Lord Kabu to go to the rooftop of the Hokage's office, where Mamushi clones were expected to appear. Kashin Koji wanted Inujin to use the mind transfer jutsu to bring Lord Kabu to the rooftop and make him jump off, killing him. However, Kashin Koji wanted it to look as if Lord Kabu had acted on his own and was not being controlled by any jutsu. To make this convincing, Kashin Koji told Inujin to make it appear as if Lord Kabu had been attacked by Mamushi clones and had panicked. Inujin refused to do this. Kashin Koji then took advantage of the situation by telling Inujin that he was not interested in debating ethics and that Inujin should think logically. He said that Lord Kabu was the enemy and was only getting in the way. Kashin Koji also pressured Inujin by further telling him that there was no group transmission jutsu between them and the rest of the team. This meant that only Kashin Koji and Inujin were part of this conversation and there would be no evidence of what they did. Even so, Inujin still refused to follow Kashin Koji's instructions. While Kashin Koji and Inujin were still talking, Mamushi clones appeared on the rooftop of the Hokage's office. Kashin Koji realized that Inujin would not do what he asked. Because of this, Kashin Koji used the toad that he had secretly placed on Lord Kabu's body to fire a jutsu at Mamushi. This was done to anger Mamushi, causing the Mamushi clones to want to attack Lord Kabu with the intention of killing him. Here's the problem with Kashin Koji's intentions and his plan. When Inujin used these mind transfer jutsu on Lord Kabu immediately passed out and hit his head on the table. Even Sai was shocked by this and wanted to know what was wrong with Lord Kabu. When Lord Kabu woke up again, Inujin was controlling his body and mind. At that moment, Inujin saw his father Sai. Because Inujin is still inexperienced with this kind of task, the first thing he did was call out to Sai as his father. He looked at Sai and called him Dad. This shocked both Shikamaru and Sai, because it made no sense for Lord Kabu to call Sai his dad. Inujin realized his mistake. He grabbed his head and said, "Oh crap," and then quickly tried to cover it up by saying he meant to say "darned," and that he was talking about his darned hair being so dry. Even so, Lord Kabu's speech, body language, and the way he spoke showed clear nervousness. This was the complete opposite of how Lord Kabu normally acted when he was in control of his own body. At this point, it became clear to both Sai and Shikamaru that Inujin was controlling Lord Kabu using the mind transfer jutsu. What made it even more obvious was that Lord Kabu asked to take a break and didn't want to question Shikamaru straight away, even though he had early been very eager to interrogate Shikamaru himself. Because of this, Shikamaru's original plan was now in danger. His plan had been to allow the Mamushi clones to come to Hokage's office so that Lord Kabu could see how serious the emergency in Konoha was. This would have given Shikamaru a reason to have Lord Kabu release him from the interrogation room. This situation also confirmed Sai's suspicion. Sai realized that Konohamaru, Mitsuki, and Shikamaru had been using Inujin's mind transmission jutsu to secretly communicate with each other the whole time. This meant that Sai could easily work out things and realize Shikamaru was the one talking to Boruto and Boruto's mysterious partner through the mind transmission jutsu, and that Boruto was the source of Shikamaru's information. On top of that, Sai wanted to know what Shikamaru was making Inujin do. He asked Shikamaru to explain what was really going on. This is where the real danger appears. Shikamaru was able to figure out that Boruto is the true son of Naruto, even though he was affected by omnipotence. It was never revealed that the same thing happened with Sai. Because of what Sai knows now, Shikamaru, Boruto, and the mission could all be put at risk. This could be even worse if something were to happen to Lord Kabu while he was under Inujin's control, as Sai might decide to expose everything. Now, let's imagine that nothing bad happens to Lord Kabu. Boruto manages to reach Lord Kabu's location and saves him from the Mamushi clones. Even then, Sai might still order Shikamaru to stop using his son Inujin for secret missions involving Boruto. If that happens, Boruto, Kashin Koji, and Shikamaru will lose the advantage they gain from Inujin's new mind transmission formation map jutsu. If Boruto discovers Kashin Koji's hidden plan and his intentions to have Lord Kabu killed, Boruto will completely lose trust in Kashin Koji and will become very cautious around him. Shikamaru will also lose trust in Kashin Koji if anything happened to Lord Kabu because of Kashin Koji's actions.